Welcome back to the Conflict Counselor podcast. I'm your host, Chris Capocia. As the volunteer attorney mediator at the 47th District Court in Michigan, I help folks settle all manner of disputes with customers, contractors, retailers, debt collectors, neighbors, even family members. What I have come to appreciate are the often compelling backstories to these everyday conflicts. Stories that are usually untold, that is, until the mediation hearing. Consider the recent case of a homeowner who was sued by her subdivision association for non payment of the annual dues, about $300. In my experience with this type of case, the homeowner typically doesn't pay because they forget about the bill, dispute the amount due, or have some complaint with their association. Not so in this case. The homeowner, a very polite elderly woman, stated matter of factly that she simply couldn't afford to pay the dues at this time. As her story unfolded, it became clear that this rather small association bill was the least of her worries. She had been a full time caregiver to her recently deceased husband. He had always handled the family finances, apparently not too well as his health declined. Only upon his passing did she realize the extent of their unpaid bills, which were contained in the thick file folder she brought to mediation. We were able to work out a payment plan as she had succeeded in doing with all the other creditors. This lovely lady was determined to get out of debt and not lose her modest house, even if it meant having to get a job at this stage in her life. The backstory of conflict. There usually is one, often untold. Stories of illness, unemployment, addiction, divorce, death. These life circumstances are often what spawn disputes in personal and business relationships. Disputes involving work undone, bills unpaid, promises unkept. So, what should be our takeaway from this? The next time you find yourself in a conflict, appreciate the likely backstory, whether known or unknown, on both sides, and allow the other person, and yourself too, some slack for life circumstances beyond our control. It's just the right thing to do. Thanks again for listening to the Conflict Counselor. You can follow the podcast on most streaming services. Next time, we'll take a deep dive into a real case from my docket. I call it the case of the sibling cats. Stay tuned for a perfect ending.